Hello everyone, and welcome to the Light Up Virtual Conference. And I cannot be more proud that we have all gathered here today in support of UNICEF for generating funds and fighting against COVID 19. The topic is extending Microsoft Team capabilities using Power Automate. And I have a good reason to, we have a good reason to show this. But let me first quickly introduce myself. My name is Yash Kamdar, and I work as a cloud infrastructure consultant for Rapid Circle. The good reason of demoing the team's capabilities is that Rapid Circle was recently named Worldwide Microsoft Partner of the Year 2020 for the category of teamwork slash Microsoft Teams. And this is a pure coincidence that we had we are going to demo the same to you. So this is a packed session with 7 big and small demos, and we are going to keep you on the edge of your seat for the next 1 hour. Any questions that you have, we are open to it, but please do share it at the end of the session because there are going to be 7 demos and this is going to be a very tight session of 1 hour. I have the handlers on the right hand side so you can connect with me on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. So without wasting much of the time, I'm going to hand over the torch to Clevin, who will begin with some cool demos. Over to you, Clevin.
Thank you, Yash. I'm going to present my screen. So let me know if you can see my screen right now.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, perfect. So hello everyone and very warm welcome to today's session. My name is Clavin and I work as a technical consultant for Rapid Circle and I'm also the technical support manager for Mohimbi. So I support around 1,000 high-level enterprise customers and also help them adapt technologies, which are basically no-code and low-code solutions. You can find my social handles at the right corner of the screen, just below my photograph. I also like to share my knowledge on my personal blog post, which is clavinfernandez.wordpress.com. So we are here for a noble cause, so please donate in support of UNICEF. Thank you for our sponsors for going ahead and organizing such a great event. And now let me take you to the agenda. So first and foremost, I'm going to introduce you to Microsoft Teams application. Then we will have a look at the Power Automate Teams connector. And as Yash mentioned, we are going to have a lot of demos. And finally, we will have a Q&A session. So what is Microsoft Teams? So Microsoft Teams is the fastest growing application in the history of Microsoft. Microsoft Teams is a unified communication platform that combines persistent workplace for chat, video meetings, file storage, and application integration. So you can chat from anywhere, you can meet from anywhere, you can call from anywhere, and you can collaborate from anywhere. So this is how, and this is the power of Microsoft Teams. So now let me quickly take you to the portal and show you how Team is. So Teams is basically found in three variations. One is the web, that's what you're seeing out here. The second one is the application which installs on your desktop, which I'm using to present right now. And the third is the mobile device. So all the three applications, the look and feel is similar. Okay, you'll find the same blue branding, you'll find same icons at the left corner, and you'll have the same chat window. So here, let me quickly take you and show you the activity pane. This is where all of your activity will be available. This is a chat pane. This is where you will see all your chats with your colleagues or maybe with the Flowbot. Then you have the teams. The big icon is the actual team and the small icon out here is the channel. So in the Teams channel, I see post, files, and wikis. Post is the chat. Files, if I click on files, you'll see that it opens up a dialog and it is actually SharePoint. Okay, so when I click on it, it takes me to a SharePoint site collection. So have a close look at the URL. You see everyone as the site, and if you click on the documents, you'll see general as the library. So a channel is a library and a site is a team. Then we have the calendar and then we have calls out here. Then we have the files icon. Here you can see all the files. You can also access your OneDrive from here. And finally, you have the apps. So Microsoft Teams goes ahead and connects, and you can connect with around 300 plus applications. I'll repeat again, 300 plus applications. So you have a lot out here that you can work with. One thing I want to show you with reference to Power Automate is that Microsoft has provided a bot that we can talk with. So the bot is the Flow bot. So I'll click on the Flow bot, and as I have already added it, I can just click on open. So what can the Flow bot do for us? It's already prompting, so let's go ahead and check. You can learn more, you can list flows, you can run flows, and you can check what your flow describes. So let's quickly start with the list flows. I'll click and hit enter. So once, yeah, it just came up. So here you see that it returns me the flows that can be triggered on scheduled or can be manually triggered with no inputs. And all the flows are coming back from the default environment. And it tells me that I have 6 flows that can be either be triggered manually or can be triggered on schedule. So let's quickly check the second one. I can go ahead and click on run flows. Okay, so let me just quickly click on run flow and quickly see and type in the number. I just need to pass in the number. I'll pass in 1. I want to see what the sales report flow does. I have went ahead and invoked the flow. Now, the next thing I want to see, I don't remember what exactly this flow does. So what I can do, I can go ahead and click describe flows. And again, I'll type in 1. And this tells me that the flow actually sends an automated email every day that includes a Power BI report. Sales report can be anything, right? I was thinking it might be an Excel report, but no, it's a Power BI report. So let me quickly take you to the flows portal. Click on my flows. And I'll quickly click on edit. So this is the flow that we were working with. So yes, it goes ahead and converts to PDF and sends a Power BI report. And if you see, the flow has succeeded 44 seconds ago. And the description field comes from the details pane. This is where the description fields comes from. And you see at 8:38, which is exactly right now, I have a Power BI report in my inbox, which I can go ahead and refer to. So now let me go back to the slide. The next slide is Power Automate Teams and Connector. So let's go back to the flows pane. So I'll just go back here. I'll go ahead and create a new flow. So let me quickly click on it. I'll click on automated flow and I'll click on skip. So here you see that the flow has got, or the Teams Power App Flow Connector has got 3 triggers. The one when a new channel is added, when I'm mentioned in a channel, and the third one when a new teammate is added to the channel. So one thing that people tell me when I speak to them about the Power Automate and the Teams connector, this is not much of a use, Clavin. How can I use it in practical life? And I say, it's of great use, my friend, and you can use it in your practical life. So let me show you quickly how I go ahead and use it. I'll start with the first one, when a new channel is added. So let's consider a scenario out here. Okay, so I have a Teams channel and I have a technical support channel, and under that channel, I have got an high priority channel. So I want to go ahead and get all my, whenever someone goes ahead and drops a message in the high priority channel, I should get notified no matter what. So from the drop down, I'll go ahead and select the technical support, and then from the drop down, I'll click on channel and the high priority channel. And then now I might be traveling, I might have limited internet connectivity, but I should know if there's a high priority channel. I'll repeat again. So what I'll do, I want to send an SMS to me. So I can put in my Twilio phone number. I can put in my phone number out here. And then I can add the text as the message body content. And this is pretty much it. Easy, but very effective. When I'm traveling, when I don't have internet connectivity, I still get messages. So let me go ahead and show you another example. The another example would be when someone mentions me in the team. So let's consider this. When I'm mentioned in the teams, I should get notified. So what I'll do, I'll quickly open an alternate team channel, which is out here. I'll go to Teams, I'll go to Everyone General, and I'll go ahead and mention my test account, which I'm using right now. Like, let me put in something. Clavin, an urgent call needed to customer X, Y, and Z. I could not type needed, so I'll just remove an extra D and hit enter. So now I've been mentioned in a chat. Now the thing is that I'm on a vacation. Just imagine I'm on a vacation. And I'm not checking my phone because I'm enjoying the sun and I'm enjoying the beach. But my colleagues don't know I'm on a vacation. Yes, I have set up auto responder emails, but for some reason they have not read it. So in that scenario, this is very, very important and very, very essential. If I go back to Teams and the general channel, you see that a message has been added. And if you look up, you see that it will auto respond with a message something like this. Now, what I've seen is that it takes approximately 2 minutes to go ahead and trigger this flow. So we'll not go ahead and wait now because Yash has got a very interesting demo coming up. So Yash, I'll hand it over to you and we'll check our flow when we come back. Okay? Yash, over to you. Yash?
Hey, hi, Clevin. Thank you. I'm going to share my desktop now. Let me know if it's visible. Clevin,
Not yet.
it says that something else is being shared. Can you stop your
Okay.
share?
I stopped my share. Can you share again?
Something is being shared. Anything you share will replace it. So I have clicked on it.
Yes, yes. Replace it. I think that's what it has to be. And can you share your PowerPoint presentation? I cannot see it yet.
Uh, it's giving me the prompt again and again. Yeah, it should be
Yeah, it's coming up.
visible.
Perfect.
Awesome.
It's coming up. It's not yet up. So just give it a minute to just heat up. Yeah, I can see the adaptive cards. You're good to go. Yes.
Okay, so thank you so much, Clevin. That was a pretty good insight. And now we are going to dig a little bit deeper as we go ahead in the session. So, when we are talking about extending the capabilities of Microsoft Teams, there is another important aspect to it. Okay, and that another important aspect, or let's say the element, is adaptive cards. Now, what is an adaptive card? Adaptive cards are basically snippets of UI that are authored in JSON that the different Office 365 apps and services can share among themselves for smooth transition of data. So basically, you want to show a block of data on a service or on any app in O365. What you can do is use an adaptive card. Now, why adaptive card? The most important advantage of adaptive card is when it's delivered to a specific app in O365, the JSON using which you have authored that adaptive card automatically adapts to the native UI. So what I say is, if I take the same JSON and post it in Microsoft Teams, the adaptive card will adapt to the Microsoft Teams. You will see that the adaptive card totally fits into the Microsoft Teams. But what if I share that same thing in some other app? It will adapt to the UI of that other app. Okay, I have a sample adaptive card open over here. And now let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the things. So you see, we are going to work with adaptive cards, and then we are going to work with Microsoft Teams, right? We want the adaptive cards to be closely packed or integrated with Microsoft Teams. So we are going to use Power Automate for that. Okay. Now there are four actions available for adaptive cards inside the Microsoft Teams, and let's go give a go through to that. Okay. So the basic action is post. You can only post an adaptive cards to Microsoft Teams for now, because you are going to ultimately going to post the data, right? Now there are two ways of posting an adaptive card to Microsoft Teams via Power Automate. One is posting the adaptive card as a flow bot to a user in Teams, and the other one is posting an adaptive card as a flow bot to a channel in Teams. So you see, here you are talking about the target, to whom you are actually targeting in Microsoft Teams. Is it a user or is it a channel? Now when I talk about a target, let's say I am trying to target a channel in Microsoft Teams, then I have another two options available. One is the adaptive card will wait for response of someone from the channel, and one is the adaptive card will not wait for the response from anyone in the Microsoft Teams channel. Now how this is driven? Suppose an adaptive card is pushed, okay, via flowbot to a channel in Teams. Then when it waits for response, there is certain prompt, okay, there is certain fields that needs to be populated by someone in the Teams channel, and post that the rest of the flow gets driven. And when there isn't any option for waiting, at that point of time, the adaptive card is just going to show you a block of data, and then ultimately it's going to redirect you to one of these apps or services in the Microsoft uh, O365 Power Platform. So basically, an adaptive card comes in, it has certain prompts available. You need to fill in the prompts. Once you fill in those prompts, only then the rest of your Power Automate solution will go ahead. This is waiting for a response. The other scenario is an adaptive card comes into your Teams channel. You just click on one of the buttons and then you get redirected to one of the apps in the O365. This is the adaptive card not waiting for the response. Okay. Now that being said, what is the use case that we are going to demo today? So we are going to drive a document approval process using adaptive cards and with the Power Automate. Now, why we are planning to do the document approval process, even though a template for driving this is already provided by the Microsoft Flow or Microsoft Power Automate. One of the most important thing is, since we are in COVID-19 times, okay, and most of you must be working from home. Now it's very difficult, to open a SharePoint online in Microsoft, I mean, in a mobile device. Okay, it's just not flawless. But I can guarantee that most of you must be having the Microsoft Teams app in your mobile. Now you do the math. Opening a SharePoint Online library in a browser and then populating the fields in a mobile device, and at the same time opening a Teams application, just filling up a simple UI form that, by the way, natively sits in with the UI of Microsoft Teams, and just hitting a button to driving the approval process. What is easy and what is more flawless? Of course, it's going to be Microsoft Teams, right? So that's why what we are going to do is, whenever a document gets uploaded to your SharePoint Online library, we are going to notify you via your mobile device and an adaptive card in the Teams channel, where a group of approvers will be sitting and will be waiting to either approve or reject, the uploaded document. Post which, if it's approved, we are going to update the file properties in the SharePoint Online library and then convert it to PDF, so that you can take that PDF document and circulate it across BUs and in a normal business process, because PDF is the most preferred way of working in a normal business process, right? On the other hand, if the document gets rejected, we are going to not do anything. We are just going to update the file properties that this document has been rejected, and then whoever has uploaded that document is going to work on that and submit the document once again. That being said, it's very important to first know how to create uh, an adaptive card, right? Because until and unless you know how to create an adaptive card, it's just not going to be easy to go ahead. So what Microsoft has done is Microsoft have a page called adaptivecards.io, and they have this designer tab, and I'll show you in the next 5 minutes how easy it is to design an adaptive card on your own. So two things. If you are a pro and if you know JSON, then you can directly start working over here. But what if you are an IT pro or you are a citizen developer and you don't know anything about JSON? So in that case, you simply need to drag the elements from the left into this uh, workspace, and the JSON will start getting authored on its own. So this is the adaptive card that we are going to use today inside our Power Automate, and I'll just give you some insights on how to make this or how to imitate this. Okay, this heading is basically a text block. So I have not done anything, just gone ahead and drag the text block over here. Once I drag the text block, you can see that the new text block and the type is text block. So the JSON in the card payload editor starts getting authored on its own. This is, by the way, live, right? Whenever you drag an element and put it in this workspace, an element, or let's say the payload, will start getting updated. So and what if you want to play around with the CSS? Okay, for every element that you push in your workspace, you have the element properties. So you can totally play with this. Now what if this approved by is left aligned? What if I want to bring it to the center, right? So I can just click on the horizontal element and click on center. So you can see that it has been reflected in my workspace. And by the way, let me show it to you how this is also reflected in the card payload editor. Yes, you can see the horizontal alignment has changed to center from left. If I change it back to left, so approved by has gone back to left. So approved by, this is the one. Okay, and it has been aligned. Now similarly, I have input fields for full name, for email address, and for comments, right? Because I want the author to go ahead and fill this. So what is the type that I have used is input.text, because these are input types of fields, right? Next, I want to give the approvers a preview of the document before they go ahead and make a decision, right? So what I've done is I have included a submit type button, and then I'll show you how I have configured this. But whenever a approver goes ahead and clicks on this view document, the file that was uploaded in the SharePoint Online Library will come up in a new tab. So he gets a preview of the file before making a decision, because that is very important, right? Unless and until you make a preview, you cannot come on a decision whether you need to approve or reject this particular document. Post that, I have two buttons, interactive buttons. So if the approver wants to click on approve, then he just needs to press the approve button. If he wants to reject, he just needs to click on the reject button. Now these three things are a bit complicated. Okay, how to design this? I'll show this to you quickly. Now these are not a part of elements, right? These are some things that are a part of actions, right? So when I want to give ability to the user to click on a button and then redirect something, I need to use action.openURL, uh, uh, because that button gives the ability to redirect to certain URL, right? So that's why the type is action.url. You can give any title like view document, or basically view this document, anything, and it will get reflected in our workspace. And the URL, for now you need to put in your URL, but for now let's put in google.com. So when I click on that button, view this document, you will be redirected to google.com. Okay, this is just a sample. So I just want you to understand how this works. The next is action.submit, because you're going to submit the approve button, right? So I have likewise included two buttons under the action.submit type. One is approve and one is reject. That's it. This is your adaptive card. Okay, basically this is all that you need to do to summon or to provision an adaptive card in your Teams channel. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly demo to you how this works, and post that will try to understand the interim parts of the flow. So before I go ahead and run the flow, let me uh, tell you certain things about the different elements. So first up, we are going to upload a file on this doc approval library. I have included three, columns with file status, who has approved or rejected it, and the approval comments. So once a file gets uploaded over here, the flow will get triggered. Now, if the file gets approved, or let's say, okay, once the file is dropped in, I have a channel called Microsoft Doc Mohimbi Doc Approval Team. So the adaptive card will pop up over here. You just need to fill in the form that we just, looked at inside the designer IO. And once you click on approve or reject, the rest of the things will start getting ramped up. So if you click on approve, what I'm doing is I'm converting the doc to PDF and placing it on this destination library, as I already told you in my architecture flow. If it's rejected, then the document will sit here and the file status will be rejected, and who has approved or rejected that with the approval or rejection comments. Okay. So that being said, let's trigger our flow. So I'll click on test and I'll perform the trigger action. So in a minute, the flow will expect me. Okay, so see, it says to see it work now, add a file to the SharePoint folder you have selected. So I'm just going to go ahead and upload a file. Let's select this particular image. Okay. And then I'm going to upload this. Okay, so once it was uploaded, the flow has started running. Now all we need to do is wait for the, oh yeah, you can see how much flawless and quick this is. The moment the flow started running, it has popped up an adaptive card inside my Microsoft Mohimbi Doc Approval Teams channel. So let's say this is approved by Yash Kamdar. My email address is ykamdar@mohimbi.com. I'm just going to approve this, but before approving, remember we need to take a preview of the file. So I'm going to click on view document. Yeah, this was the image that I had uploaded. So yeah, this looks a good image, right? So this looks like a pretty good first version. This is being approved. Okay, and now I just click on the approve button. That being said, the rest of my flow should work. Okay, and I'll explain all the interim parts to you. It's just that I want you to first get the feel of how this works, and post that, I'll explain you the interim parts. So the flow is running and now it has succeeded. So since I clicked on upload, there should be two things. There should be a PDF file over here, and the properties should get updated over here. Okay, let's refresh both the pages and take a look whether we have achieved our end goal. So the source library, that is the doc approval library, is getting refreshed. So I have a lot of flows authored in this environment, so it's a bit slow. Bear with me on that. Let's just click on the refresh once again. Now you'll see how smoothly, the file has been updated with all the required properties. And yeah, it's coming up. And moreover, I have used Mohimbi to convert the file to PDF. There are a lot of third-party PDF converters available in the market. I work on the Mohimbi, so that's why I'm going to use the native Mohimbi converter to convert my file to PDF. It's still coming up. I'd rather duplicate this tab and I'll close this. Okay, meanwhile, it comes up. Let's take a look at the flow. We'll see the final output anyways, but in the interest of time, let's take a look at the flow. So the trigger is but obviously when a file is created in a folder, right? And the folder ID is my SharePoint Online library. So I've just selected doc approval. That was my source library. Whenever a file drops in, my flow starts provisioning. Then basically we need to get the file content, right? Because we are going to convert this file to PDF, and that's why it's important that we grab the file content of the source file. Now you can see that I have included a get file metadata action. Now why this is important? Let's go back to the basics, right? What I need to do is grab the exact same file that was uploaded in the source library and give its preview to the approver. Okay, anybody who is having the responsibility of either approving or rejecting this file. So for that, I need to grab the exact same file. How am I going to grab the exact same file? I'm going to grab it using the ID, right? And I need the ID. That's why I'm going to grab the file metadata. So the file metadata is going to give me all the properties about the file, that is file ID, file name, the version of the file, etc, etc, etc. Okay. Now one other thing, what if there are hundreds of documents already uploaded, already placed in my source library? To grab the exact same file that was uploaded and the exact same file for which the adaptive card was filled up. So for that, what we need to do is we need to call, or let's say send an HTTP request to the SharePoint team, I mean to the SharePoint Online Library, and look for the exact same file. Okay. Now, okay, I have looked for the exact same file, but I want to open that in a browser. So how do I do that? So there is a property that every file holds, which is called the encoded absolute URL. Let's make a REST query. So over here, you can see that I have made a REST query and I'm trying to grab an ID uh, that is equal to 1. So I'm trying to grab a file that has ID equal to 1. When I do a quick search for encoded absolute URL, this particular thing gets written. So I'm just going to copy this, and open this inside my notepad. So see, this was my REST query. So API get by title, pass on the name of the library, that is doc approval, then hyphen, I mean slash items, that is I'm grabbing all the items. Then there's a question mark, and then I'm going to filter all the items based on ID. But what I'm going to look for is encoded absolute URL and file leafref. So encoded absolute URL, let me quickly show encoded absolute URL. Okay, it's not coming up, but I know that it is over here. Yeah, can you see this encoded absolute URL? And then if I try to check the value of this, I can see that this has the path to the exact same file that was uploaded by me. So this is my SharePoint library, doc approval, and this is the file, right? So you can see that the encoded absolute URL holds the absolute URL to the file. So I need to grab this, correct? And then what I need to do, let's head back to the flow. So for now, just keep in mind that I have grabbed the exact URL of the file that was uploaded using this REST query. Let's create a variable called doc_url and populate the doc_url with this URL, the URL that we just grabbed using the REST query. Okay. Now when I hit, or when I summon this send an HTTP request to SharePoint, the body that it outputs is basically JSON. So I'm going to pass this JSON, and then I'm going to pass this particular property, encoded absolute URL. I have already initialized a variable so that I can populate the encoded absolute URL with this particular variable. So as you can see, I am setting the doc URL variable with the encoded absolute URL property so that I can keep it saved. Now we had already discussed the different actions. Now what we are going to do is we are going to provision post and adaptive cards to Teams channel and wait for response action, because we need to wait for the approver to fill in the form and click on the approve button. So I am going to copy the same Control A Control C payload, okay, and then I need to just paste it over here in the message field. So this is basically my adaptive card. Now one important change, you remember that I had written google.com over here, right, in the designer.io. But do we need to redirect ourselves to google.com? No, right? We need to redirect ourselves to the encoded absolute URL, correct? And where is that encoded absolute URL? Inside the doc URL property. So what I'm going to do is just I'm going to go ahead and search for, you know, enter the doc URL property, and that usually comes from over here. So, now my adaptive card understands that whenever, someone goes ahead and clicks on view document, he needs to, like, the adaptive card needs to redirect to the encoded absolute URL, which is currently saved inside this doc URL variable, correct? After that, what we are going to do is we are going to create a condition. So the condition is either approve or reject, right? So if you take a look, the post and adaptive card for Teams channel has submit action ID. Now this submit action ID has the exact approve or reject value saved. So if you click on approve, that will get saved inside this submit action ID. If you click on reject, that will get saved inside this submit action ID. So for now, the condition is if the submit action ID is approved, if yes, then just update the file properties, right? Now file status is but obviously saved inside the submit action ID. I already told you. So we are just going to, populate the file status with this approved or rejected by this property. Like my name property has saved our approved or rejected by field, and and likely the approval comments are saved inside this comments ID. So just populate this over here, right? And then I just need to use the native convert document action. If my file is approved, then the file will get converted to PDF. So I think that we were not able to take a look at the final output. Okay, so if you can see in the source library, I have, you know, my properties updated with whatever we filled it inside the adaptive card. So we filled the file status approved. So the file status showed as approved. Um, I filled in that Yash Kamdar has approved or rejected this. So this has been, updated accordingly. And then the approval comments have also come in very nicely. Last thing, I'll need to refresh this page once again so that we can see whether, our source file has gotten converted to PDF. So yes, this has been converted to PDF, and I'll just click on this and tada. So outer.pdf, this was the base file name was outer. So the PDF has come as outer.pdf, but you can see how flawless this is, right? uh, you can totally go ahead and try to imitate this. It's very simple. It doesn't need anything. It just needs you to have some basic knowledge of adaptive card. And now I have told you how you can go ahead and summon your own adaptive card. It's basically going to the adaptivecards.io, clicking on the designer tab and just dragging the components or elements from the left into the workspace. That being said, I will now, hand over the torch to Clevin Fernandez because he has lined up the rest of the demos. So let's sit tight and have a look at them. Over to you, Clevin.
Thank you, Yash. I'm trying to share my screen. Let me know when it's up. Can you see my screen?
Not yet. It's coming up. It's coming up.
Perfect.
Mm,
Let me know when it's up. So
okay,
first of
it's up.
all, thank you, Yash, for the insightful demo when it comes to adaptive cards. Adaptive cards is very powerful when it comes to Power Automate as well as when it comes to using Microsoft Teams. So before we proceed, as I will tell you, let me quickly show you. So it auto responded, if you see, to the message that was sent. So the autoresponder flow also works. So let's take it ahead. The next important aspect of Teams is messages. So when I say about messages, just think of a scenario out here. What if I want to get a dump of all the messages? I want to get the dump because I want to go ahead and give it to my compliance people so that they can run few things. They need to check few things based on the messages for Teams. So let's go ahead and look at that scenario. So here you see I have a flow. The flow actually triggers manually, but you can go ahead and trigger the flow on schedule. Then what I do, I go ahead and get messages. Then after getting the messages, then go ahead, I can go ahead and get the array to store the messages. I go ahead and initialize an array variable. Then I have a loop which goes ahead and loops through all the messages in the array. I loop the messages. Then I have a condition. I don't want to get the dump of everything, right? The Teams chat can be very long. I want the dump only for today. So this is the formula that I use to get the dumps. So I go ahead and filter it by created time today. That is the message created time today is greater than start of the day today. Okay, so I need only the messages for today. I don't need the messages for yesterday or tomorrow. You cannot have tomorrow's message, but I'm just telling you. So this will return the messages for today. Then I will append the message variable, the message content body to the array variable. Then I'll create an HTML table. And finally, I will go ahead and send it as an email. So in the email, I have decorated the body with some CSS out here, and then I'll pass in the HTML table out here as the output. So let's go ahead and see this in action, how it works. And the team that it's going to get message from is everyone general. So it's going to get the messages from this channel. So I see that I had 3 chats or 3 messages for today. I'll quickly go ahead and start the flow. Because I can manually trigger it for this demo. I'll just quickly trigger it using the flow pane itself and run the flow. So Yash, my screen is visible, right? It's not blurry, correct? So here
Yeah,
you
it's
see,
visible, Clement.
and it's not blurred as well, correct?
No, yeah, it's everything is going fine.
Perfect. So here I see that I have gone ahead and got an email with the chat dumps. So as I told you, we have 3 messages and all the 3 messages are in my inbox as a dump. So this is how easy you can go ahead and export all the chats or the messages and send it as an email. So next important aspect that we are going to talk about is files. How do you manage files when it comes to Microsoft Teams? One thing that I told you initially was to go ahead and is that everything with Microsoft Teams is backed up by a SharePoint site. So I'll go to a site which actually has files. So let's consider the sales team. I'm on the sales team and I'm on the files. I'll click on files. And here you see the files are there in SharePoint. So if you're a SharePoint guru or a SharePoint admin, you can go ahead and apply all your SharePoint skills. I'll repeat all your SharePoint skills and you can go ahead and work around with files. You just have to attach your Power Automate logic on the library and work around it. So let's take a real life scenario out here. So we have a teams for sales, and for the sales team, we go ahead and upload quotations every day. The quotations are uploaded in batch. It can be 10, it can be 20, it can be 10, or maybe 2, 3. But the manager tells me that I want a report of all the quotations by the end of the day today. So I'm like, okay, you need the quotation, but I cannot ask my manager, okay, manager, go to the teams and click on individual quotations and then go ahead and see what the quotation is. So that's not something I want to do. I want to make his life easy. So let's see how I go ahead and create a single report out of all the quotations that are available. So I'll go ahead and edit this flow for you. Yeah, here you see, as I told you, we are working with SharePoint, so we are going to get the files. So because we are going to get the files, I go ahead and reference the Teams site. So as you see, we are in the sales team and the general. So what do I need? I need to reference the sales site collection and the general folder within the shared document library. Then I go ahead and apply a filter. My manager told me that I want the documents only for today. So what I do? The created date is a column, or the created is a column in SharePoint. If the created column is greater than today, go ahead and return me only those documents. I want the documents only for today. Okay, I'm using the same old logic that I had used to filter out messages. Then as you see, I'm a big fan of arrays, so I go ahead and create a file array. Then I loop through all the files. And from the files, what do I get? I get the file content using path. I go ahead and get the file content, and then I append to an array variable. I go ahead and create a variable with the source file name, which includes the file name and extension, which is actually the output of the get files action. Then I go ahead and get the source file content. Again, the file content is returned by the get file content SharePoint action, which is above the append array action. Then I loop through all the files. Once the looping is done, I use the Muhembi merge action and pass in the array variable. And then I create the file in SharePoint, and then I post my own adaptive card using the Teams connector, right? Adaptive card is covered by Yash in depth, so I'm not going to repeat how I created the adaptive card. But one thing, as Yash told, on actions we pass the path. That's pretty much it. So now I don't want to go ahead and trigger this flow from here. So I want to use the flow bot because it's pretty easy. So I'll go ahead and click on run flow. And the flow that I'm going to trigger is the merge flow. So the merge flow is the fifth flow in the list. I'll just put the merge flow, and let's go ahead and see. So the report will be sent to a user named as Clavin Fernandez. So I have the user logged in the alternate channel. And here you see that I have an adaptive card posted as the flow bot. So when I click on view report, you see that I have three quotations, quote 1, quote 3, and quote 2, which are exactly the same as that in my sales channel. So if I go back to my sales channel, you see I have three quotes. So the next topic that I want to go ahead and show you is, what if my manager wants to go ahead and get all the members of this team? Can I do that? He wants a report. Something has gone wrong in the team. Something has gone wrong. Somebody has misbehaved. He wants to get all the team members in the team. So how can we do that? So I'll go ahead and quickly go back a step. I'll go ahead and create a flow. I'll create an automated flow. I'll just skip for now. I can go ahead and select teams. I can go ahead and select the first trigger if I want to, because we are interested in the action. So I'll go ahead and click on teams and quickly try to find members. Okay, there's no members, users. I want to get users. There's no get user action. Oh my God, I have hit a roadblock. How can I go ahead and get users for this team? I don't want to do a manual process every day. Maybe my company is big and the users are added every day and removed every day. So the next point that comes to me that in my mind is, this particular Power Automate or Microsoft Flow is backed up by REST, or I can say as a Graph API. So I'll quickly open the Graph Explorer. As a Power developer, yes, you heard me right. I'm telling you as a Power developer, not a citizen developer or a user. And then I'll see if there is an endpoint with which I can get the members of the team. So I click on members of the team, and I see that there is an endpoint with which but it needs a group ID. So how can I get the group ID? So I'll quickly go back to the channel for which I want to get all the members. So I see that I can get a link for the channel. I can copy the link. I can go to my notepad. I can quickly do a Control A, Control C. And here you see that the channel is followed by the channel ID and the group is followed by the group ID. So this is what I need. I want the group ID. I'll quickly copy the group ID. Quickly copy the group ID. I'll go back to the Graph API. I'll paste the group ID in, and I'll go ahead and click on Run Query. So when I click on Run Query, whoa, this is what I needed. I have the display name, I have the email address, and this is what my manager needs. I want to go ahead and automate this process. I'm not going to go do a manual request using the Graph Explorer and then send it through. No, I want to automate the process. So let's see how I can automate the process. As we just have 9 minutes more, I'll quickly show you the flow to do this. So the flow name is list. Okay, so let me go ahead and members in the list. So here you see, I'm going ahead and using a manual trigger. Then I invoke an HTTP request. Remember this, use and invoke HTTP request. I understand it's a premium connector, but if you use another premium connector known as HTTP, it's pretty difficult to go ahead and do a graph request. So what I'm doing, I'm going ahead and pasting the exact same URL as that in the Graph Explorer. Once I go ahead and do that, I'll pass the JSON so that I can get meaningful data out of it. The payload is copied from here. I'm just passing this as the payload and generating the schema for it. And then I initialize a variable. You can guess what variable type it is. It is array. And then I go ahead and apply the loop through all the items and append the display name. The display name is a field. If you see in the Graph Explorer, the display name is a field written by our graph response. Then I loop through it, then I create an HTML table, then I go ahead and decorate it with some CSS out here and send it as an email. Again, I'll go ahead and click on, I'll perform the flow action. I'll go ahead and run the flow. So it should send me an automated email, right? And oh, the email is already there before I go ahead and complete my talk. And you see all the team members, the display names are returned out here. So if something is not possible or if something is not available as a connector for Teams, you can go ahead and use the Graph Explorer or the Graph API. We have another 2 minutes, so I'll quickly show you another example. I'll go to the Teams, and if you remember, we exported chats or we exported messages, but we did not get the replies. To get the replies, we can go ahead and use the Graph Explorer or the Graph endpoint. So I'll just quickly show you within the next 2 minutes how this works. So I get the messages, then I initialize an array variable, then I apply to each loop out here. And now I go ahead and invoke an HTTP request. So if I go to my Graph Explorer, I'll just quickly show you. Under the beta, you see graph, which returns me replies to a message. I have an endpoint which replies to a message. I need to pass in the group ID. I need to pass in the channel ID, and I need to also pass in the message ID. As I showed you previously, you can get the group ID and the channel ID from the link of the channel, but the message ID is written by the get messages action. So I get the message ID, then I pass the JSON. Again, the payload can be found by the Graph Explorer. Then I put in a condition. If the OData value count is greater than 0, that means if the OData message count, if there are more than 0 messages, or if there are 0 messages, go ahead and append the value to an array saying message body and replies as empty because there are no messages or there are no replies because it's 0. Then I'll again pass the JSON and I'll again go ahead and apply to each loop. And then I'll go ahead and append replies to the messages. So this is how it works. If there are replies, go ahead and go into this loop. If there are no replies, go into this loop. And this is returned by OData count. Okay. Finally, I'll create an HTML table. I'll pass in the array variable. I'll go ahead and then send it as a message, as an email. So again, I'll quickly use the Flowbot because what I think Flowbot is much quicker when it comes to going ahead and triggering the flow manually. So our flow is number 2 with reply. So I'll just do run flow number 2. Done. The flow is running, and this is how you can go ahead and get email transcript, or you can say message transcripts, including replies. Yes, you see that I have passed in the whole JSON. I did not want to overcomplicate the flow because the more the complicated, more time it takes. And when for this demo, we do not have that much ample amount of time. But you see, We have got 4 messages and 2 replies. So let's go back to the teams that I've been working with. It's the team replies. And today, and in total, I have got 1, 2, 3, 4 messages and 2 are without replies. So this is how you can get a chat dump even with the replies using Graph API. Now, that's pretty much it when it comes to demos. I'll quickly go to the slides to check if everything is covered, the graph is covered. You have the feedback link on my screen. You can provide feedback using the QR code, quickly scan it and send it to us. And now we are open for Q&A. So we have 4 minutes left. I hope this session was informative and you have learned new things and you're going to go ahead and extend your Teams application with Power Automate. I hope this was informative and thank you for attending the session. We are open for Q&A.